Welcome back, brothers and sisters. Tim Braden, Second Legacy. You are amazing, and welcome back to the one place, the talk show style, where we go into 2A humor, sarcasm, about our freedom, our rights. We deliver it with exquisite precision, like a bunker buster bomb, drop from an A-10. But that's a different conversation for right now, because we've got to talk about what could be nefarious polls, nefarious language. They wouldn't try to keep us away from the polls, would they, Tim? No.
Oh, they might.
They wouldn't do it. I don't believe it. Well, we're going to walk through it right now. You guys can tell us what you think in the comments field below. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Tim needs more love in his life, and so do I. So please do it. And with that said, Tim, are you ready? Because I heard yesterday that Trump has a 79% thousand million. He's got it on lock in the New York Times.
Well, yeah, there was another article from Washington Post or somebody put him at like 91% chance of winning.
Mm-hmm. That's weird.
That reminds me of when they said that Hillary in 2016 had like a 93% chance of winning, and Trump had 7. I have that meme around here somewhere still.
It's laying around. It's really weird though, because 3 weeks ago, I mean, honest to God, you would have thought Christ himself returned in the form of Kamala Harris and all these polling and all the media and the left-wing pundits. That machine cranked up and it just went. But now they're telling us, Tim, that you know what? Let's just put number 2 up. Let's just show the people right off the get. This is from Nate Silver, and I'll show you who he is in a second. But they're saying that a 63.8% chance of a Trump victory in November.
This is not the popular vote. This is the Electoral College. I just want to make that
This is the prediction. Yeah, this is the prediction of who's going to win the presidency. That's all it is.
Through the Electoral
College.
The
Electoral College.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
And that's why the swing states are right down there.
Right.
Correct.
People often confuse that. Yeah.
Yeah, but so that's what he's saying. Now, why is this important? This is important, or at least they're telling us it's important, because this is from a guy named Nate Silver. Now, Nate Silver started a firm in 2008. Yeah, it was 2008 when Obama was running for office, and he basically predicted everything right on the dot. He became a leftist hero, and he was the leftist pollster of choice through 538. His firm sells his firm to ABC News. Now he's Nate Silver. That's where it is. The left loves them some Nate Silver. Okay, that's why this is important. So he's putting it at 63.8%. And if you look at that same little image that we have up there, Tim, do you really think Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, North Carolina, Georgia, and Nevada are all going to flip for Trump? He's going to sweep all 7 swing states? You really think that's possible?
Not likely.
Extremely unlikely. Yeah. Like extremely. But let me kind of set this for a little more clearly. This is number 3. This is the graphical representation. He has it to the point now where Trump has a greater chance of winning and Harris has a lesser chance of winning than Biden did when he was malfunctioning on stage.
Yeah.
Does that check out?
It almost seems like, you know how you have reverse psychology? Sometimes you have reverse propaganda.
They're called psyops.
Yeah. They're like, no, look, Trump's at 99%, folks. Just stay home.
We don't need you to vote. Trump's got it on lock. Look, it's 70%. The graph is like this. It's like a greater than sign, so we're good.
Yeah. No, unfortunately,
if you can't see through this BS.
I think we're running kind of neck and neck, right? And
well, that's what's interesting. Yeah.
That's not because one person's policies are better than the other. I mean, obviously, I believe that's true, but keep in mind, Democrat versus Republican American elections are nothing more than spectator sports. They're tribalism. People just vote for the party. They don't care who's running. I've said many times, either side
most cases,
could dig up Adolf Hitler and reanimate him and run him for office, and you get 50% of the vote. Doesn't matter if you ran him as a Republican or a Democrat. People just vote straight down the party line.
A lot of people do. Not everybody, but a lot of people do.
Oh, the vast majority. Every single election.
Well, that's why independents exist.
The only time in my life I saw an actual sweep that a presidential candidate pulled off was Ronald Reagan. He lost 1 state.
Right. It was Minnesota.
I've never seen that before or since, right? Mm-hmm. It just typically doesn't happen because it's usually these 2 lines should be running pretty close to parallel to each other.
Yes, correct. And that's something that you mentioned earlier. Like if you look on that exact same graphic, and I'll show you a lot of the stuff, what's causing this in a second. You need to know this. So hang in here.
And I also want to point out very quickly in the last election cycle, Trump lost and Biden won by literally a handful of votes in many states, like in thousands of votes.
Yes, in the
right?
tens of thousands.
That's how close
absolutely.
these things typically are, right?
Yep. And that factors into something I'm going to show in a second. So predicted popular vote share, you know how you were saying he's going to win the electoral college. That's what you were referencing in the previous tweet. And then you mentioned predicted popular vote share. That he's got predicted popular vote share at almost equal. Okay, if you guys are not familiar, Democrats always win the population race on the votes because they have the biggest cities.
Right.
That it's never tied like that. Okay, so let's go to the fourth one. This kind of speaks to what you were saying. This is Polymarket. So if you guys are not familiar, Polymarket is basically where people can bet on who's going to win the election off they're putting real money behind it. They've got it at 52% Trump, 46% Harris. That's as of last night. So that is a little closer to reality.
Yeah, that's more believable. And I would generally go with gamblers and investors and their predictions because they try to look at everything they possibly can. Every data point. Yeah, because there's real money on the line here.
Yep. And it's going up and down. So 3 weeks ago, Harris was 56%. Now Trump's 52%. I mean, it is literally up and down. It's undulating like crazy.
And it's doing so because of data inputs that come in every single day. What Trump said, what Harris said, what policy came to light, what policy has shifted. Right. Every time something changes in that data set, it is reflected in Polymarket because, again, these people actually have skin in the game, right? And,
correct.
Not so much with polls like Nate Silver and stuff like that. I don't even know where he gets his data from. I mean, it's polls and other stuff, I'm sure, but
so that's what's so interesting.
He's primarily
I'm about to show you that.
Analyst.
I'm about to show you that exact same thing, and while I'm going to get a little screenshot for Dr. Slides over here, just because I just remembered one I had to get in here. But yeah, so that's the entire point. You got Polymarket versus an actual prediction site. And that's what he is. He is actually a prediction site, and he's got his algorithm that is coming forward and saying, here's what I think is going to happen based on X, Y, Z. And Dr. Slides, I'm putting this last one in there for the very end. So now let me show you, Tim, because this is a very important piece on how he gets to that. All right. This is number 5, Dr. Slides. Oops. I made the convention bounce adjustment disappear. One neat trick for today's newsletter only. That's from Nate Silver. That's the exact same guy who has it at Trump winning 63.8% to Harris's 36%. All he's doing, Tim, is he's taking the actual algorithm and then he's inhibiting Harris on purpose and penalizing her because she didn't have a high enough DNC bounce.
Yeah.
Right? So it's basically saying because there's usually a DNC bounce and there wasn't this time, I'm going to penalize her because there should have been a bounce and there wasn't. Therefore, she's going to go lower. It is artificially cranking out an artificial result. And what are the odds that result would just happen to coincide with Trump supporters going, oh, we got it in the bag. We're fine.
Yeah.
It's all manipulation and prediction. That's all it is. Grind. You've got to vote. You got to make everyone you know vote. Yeah. If this is truly it, make it 80%, 20%. Make him feel it.
Yeah, don't sit around. Don't trust polls. Don't sit around and go, oh, yeah, we got this in the bag, because that's how we lose. Again,
yes,
thousands of votes. That is nothing. That's like a statistical zero when you're talking
Georgia
about
was 11,
the millions of votes cast in a presidential election in this country. Losing a state by a handful of votes like that. Easily 1,000 people could have turned out. They're like, you know what? I got to go to the grocery store instead. Not going to make it. I'm not going to leave work early. Whatever. Any number of excuses. And that's how you lost that state.
Correctamundo. Okay. So now, again, I've got the very end of this. I'm going to show you hard reality. But right now, I got one more thing for you, Tim. This is number 7. I don't think you've seen this because I just added this in. Dr. Slides just put it in. This is a actual snippet from the New York Times. Okay. It says electoral college win probability 99.7% for Trump.
This is such bunk.
Right? But that's my whole point. And it actually has him here, Trump winning the popular vote. Okay, guys, listen, if Trump wins the popular vote and he takes a 99.7% win and we get the Senate and we get the House and we can push for gun rights to be restored and delete some of this gun control BS that we've got, I will be the happiest person on the planet. Go freaking team. But 99.7% chance, Tim?
Yeah, and this is the New York Times.
Come on.
I mean, these people
Get
are
outta
propagandists for the DNC through and through. And it's almost laughable that they would put it at 9, because this goes back to that silly. I got to dig this up. If I can find it, I'll send it to Dr. Slide so he can stick it in. But when one of the rags out there put Hillary at 93% chance of victory in 2016, it's like that is such an impossibility.
Exactly.
Regardless of the candidate, it's an impossibility. This country is split right down the middle.
Yes.
Right down the middle. You have a few
100%.
independents that'll swing vote, but the vast majority are in their camps, their tribalistic camps, and that's how they're going to vote.
But the bottom line is you have to freaking vote. Do not believe any input that they put in the system. You have to go and grind on November 5th, and you have to vote. Or, you know what? If you can't do that, do the early voting in your area. But the point is, you got to freaking vote, because if you allow, and this is the warning part of this, if you allow this propaganda, which 3 weeks ago was Harris is going to win 2 times double anything anyone's ever done in the history. She's going to flip every single state. Every single state's going to be blue. Texas is going blue. Florida's going blue. North Carolina, Georgia going blue. I mean, literally, Alaska might go blue. And now all of a sudden, Tim, 3 weeks later,
Trump's 99%. Yeah,
99.7.
Election's in the bag.
It was a good run. It was a good run. We tried. If you can't see through the BS, I'm here to tell you, and me and Tim, you got to vote. And then on November 6th, then you can go, interesting data. That's when data matters. Does not matter going forward. For the love, get there. But, Tim, are you ready for reality? I've got some reality for you.
Let's do some reality.
6. This is some reality. So, this is from Real Clear Politics. This is the part of the video where it's probably going to give you the most realistic expectation of where things sit. You still got to vote. You still got to grind. You still got to get everyone you know to vote. But, Tim, listen to this. This is the 2024 National Trump v. Harris polling, the aggregate of polling from Real Clear Politics from last night. Okay. Now, on the RCP average across the board, with all these polls going back all the way to 822, Harris has a 1.4 percentage advantage. 1.4%. Now, if you are not familiar with polling, you're not familiar with our elections, and you aren't familiar with all this, you'd say, wait a minute, she's winning. Listen to it in context, because this is important. I've highlighted a little piece here. This day in history, this is really crucial. The exact same day when Biden was running against Trump, he was up 7.5%. Harris is at 1.4%. Biden won by about 10,000 votes. September of 2016, Hillary Clinton, 2.7%. She's underperforming Clinton, and Clinton lost. You have to understand that it's neck and neck. You got to grind. You got to go do it. But that is the true reality of where we sit, not this 63.8% chance of winning. Just Trump supporters, why don't you guys just stay home? We got this.
Nope. This election will be decided by a handful of votes. There is no 90% chance of anybody winning this. This is going to be determined by the people that actually get off their rear end and go out and vote. And like you said, you can vote early in many states. Right now, there's states that are actually taking mail-in ballots as we record this.
Yes,
and so that's why I say
in North Carolina, I think.
Yep. So vote early and vote often. Well, that's what they do. So.
There you go. I mean, how can you argue with that?
Yeah, go to your local cemetery and make sure everybody there's
stop.
properly represented, and make sure that they vote.
You know what's going to happen now? Now we're going to get that little disclaimer on the bottom of our video that says
we're going to get investigated by the DOJ.
Like we're going to get all because you had to make one joke. You did snort. You did great.
All right, fine.
Great. That was all hypothetical. Can hypothetical cover
It's a joke.
I think it can.
It's a joke.
I think it can joke. It was sarcasm.
Don't do that. All right.
Conjecture.
Anyway, thank you for watching Second Legacy. Vote early, vote often. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.